It was supposed to be just another noisy morning at Red Jack's diner, bikes roaring outside, smoke curling from sizzling pans, laughter, and cussing echoing off metal walls. But when Ray "Bulldog" Carter, a hard-faced Hells Angels chapter leader, walked in that day, his world stopped cold. Behind the counter, flipping eggs with trembling hands, was Lena, the young cook who had worked there for 6 months. Her lips were split, faint bruises hidden poorly under lipstick. When she smiled, it hurt. But what tore Ray apart wasn't the bruise, it was the silence in her eyes. The kind of silence he'd seen before, in his sister before she died. Ray's fists clenched. No one noticed. But what he did next, no one in town would ever forget. Ray Carter was not a man easily surprised. He'd seen the worst of humanity, bar fights, prison brawls, betrayal. As president of the Hells Angels Northern Chapter, his reputation alone could silence a bar. Yet Lena, quiet, polite, barely 25, had become the one calm thing in his storm of chaos. She worked hard, barely spoke, and always had a soft, "Good morning, Mr. Carter." But lately, that smile had been forced. Her sleeves got longer, her jokes disappeared, and the sparkle behind her eyes dimmed day by day. That morning, as she reached across the counter to hand him his coffee, Ray saw the faint purplish mark near her collarbone. She quickly turned away, pretending to wipe the counter. "Who did that to you?" Ray asked, voice low, heavy as a growl. "I bumped into a door," she murmured, not meeting his gaze. He'd heard that line before, too many times. Ray didn't press her. Instead, he left a $100 tip on the counter, nodded, and walked out. But as he rode his Harley down the road, the wind couldn't blow away the storm brewing inside him. He remembered his little sister, Emily, who'd been trapped in a violent marriage. He'd been too late to save her. He swore that day, never again. That night, Ray came back. The diner was closed. Through the glass, he saw Lena cleaning alone. He knocked gently. She flinched, dropped a plate. "Hey. It's just me." She opened the door halfway. "Mr. Carter, we're closed." He raised his hand. "Call me Ray. And I'm not here for food. I just want to talk." Tears welled in her eyes before she even said a word. He didn't ask. She didn't explain. But somehow, both knew what the other meant. That night, for the first time, Lena told someone about Ethan, her boyfriend, a truck driver with a temper and fists faster than apologies. She spoke quietly, hands shaking, voice breaking. When she finished, Ray leaned forward, eyes burning. "You ain't going back to him. Not while I'm alive." She tried to smile. "You can't just." He cut her off. "I don't threaten. I promise." The next day, Lena didn't come to work. But Ethan did. Ethan walked into Red Jack's like he owned the place, tall, mean, eyes drunk on control. He looked around. The bikers went silent. Ray stood from his seat at the far corner. "You lookin' for someone?" Ray's voice cut through the air like a blade. Ethan sneered. "Yeah. My girl. Lena. Tell her to stop hiding." The entire diner froze. Forks clinked against plates. One of Ray's men whispered, "Boss, this guy's got a death wish." Ray took a step closer. "You don't own her." "She's mine," Ethan barked, puffing his chest. "She knows better than to." Before he could finish, Ray's hand slammed down on the counter. Cups rattled. The sound made even the jukebox go quiet. "I've seen men like you my whole damn life," Ray said, voice trembling not from fear, but rage. "You hit what you can't control. You scare what you can't love. Not here. Not ever again." Ethan tried to swing, but Ray was faster. He grabbed his wrist mid-air and twisted, not hard enough to break it, but enough to make a point. "This ain't about revenge," Ray said, gripping tighter. "It's about redemption." He nodded to one of his brothers. "Call the sheriff. Tell him we got a domestic abuser who needs a ride." By the time the police arrived, Ethan was sitting outside, wrists cuffed, ego shattered. Inside, Lena stood behind the counter, crying softly. You didn't have to do that for me." Ray took off his leather jacket and draped it over her shoulders. "No one ever did it for my sister," he said quietly. "But maybe this time, I can make it right." The biker gang, rough as they were, started showing up every day, fixing the diner's broken sign, repainting walls, making sure Lena got home safe. A month later, she smiled again, genuinely this time. Ray noticed the bruises were gone. When a reporter later asked why a Hells Angels leader risked his reputation for a woman who barely spoke to him, Ray just said, "Sometimes the toughest men are the ones who protect instead of destroy. The world's full of monsters, but not all of us ride with them." Years later, Red Jack's Diner became a safe place for women needing help, run by Lena herself, with a small sign at the door that read, "If you're scared, you're safe here." Ray never asked for credit. He just kept riding, a little slower now, knowing his sister would have been proud. And those who knew the story still say, that day, the devil wore a halo.